As what if fear and anxiety were nothing more than illusions, shadows cast by your own mind? What if the key to breaking free had always been within you? You've been conditioned to believe that fear is natural, that anxiety is an unavoidable part of life. But what if that belief is a lie? Today, everything changes. You're about to uncover a truth that will shift the way you think forever. Your mind, when properly trained, has the power to heal itself, erasing fear, silencing anxiety, and unlocking a life of deep inner peace. Science has already proven this, yet most people remain trapped in old patterns, blind to their own potential. We live in a world that thrives on stress. Everyday negativity bombards you, expectations weigh you down, past failures haunt you. Your nervous system is constantly on high alert, treating ordinary situations as life-threatening danger. But here's the shocking truth. This response isn't just unnecessary, it's destroying you. Anxiety is more than a feeling, it's a state of being. It rewires your brain, floods your body with stress hormones, and locks you in survival mode. But what if you could break free? What if your mind had the power to reprogram itself, heal, and create an entirely new reality? Neuroscience confirms that it can. You are not your past. You are not your fears. You are not your anxiety. These are programs running in your subconscious, but you have the power to change them. In this video, you'll learn exactly how. By the time you finish watching, you'll understand the hidden mechanisms behind fear and anxiety, how your brain traps you in stress loops, and the proven techniques that have helped thousands escape their fears permanently. You don't need medication. You don't need years of therapy. You need knowledge, because once you understand how your mind truly works, you can take control. Fear and anxiety feel the same, but they are not. Fear is immediate. It's the rush of adrenaline when a car swerves into your lane, or when an unexpected sound startles you at night. It's your body's way of saying, act now or you may not. Anxiety is different. It's not about what is happening, it's about what could happen. It's the endless loop of worst-case scenarios, imagined disasters, and what-ifs that never seem to end. Your mind creates a story and your body reacts as if it were real. These emotions weren't always enemies. In fact, they were once vital for survival. Thousands of years ago, fear kept our ancestors alive. A sudden noise in the bushes meant danger. The brain fired up, adrenaline surged, the heart raced, anxiety helped too. It made them anticipate problems, prepare for storms, store food. This instinct gave them an advantage, ensuring they lived another day. But times have changed. The threats we face today aren't wild animals or sudden storms. They're deadlines, social pressures, financial worries, and uncertain futures. Yet the body doesn't know the difference. It reacts the same way, flooding you with stress hormones, increasing your heart rate, preparing you to escape, but there's nowhere to run. This is why anxiety is no longer just a warning system. It has become a lifestyle. Your brain, stuck in survival mode, replays fears, imagines worst-case scenarios, and keeps your body in a cycle of stress. The more this happens, the more anxiety becomes a habit, a default setting. Most people don't realize that fear and anxiety are learned responses. You weren't born with them. As a child, you explored the world without hesitation. You touched, ran, climbed, driven by curiosity, not fear. But over time, experiences, social conditioning, and repeated exposure to stress trained your brain to be afraid. Maybe it was a strict parent, a traumatic event, or constant worry from those around you. Whatever the cause, your brain learned that the world was dangerous, that mistakes were punishable, that uncertainty meant failure. But fear and anxiety were never meant to be permanent states. They were designed as temporary mechanisms to keep you safe. What happens when they don't turn off? When your body stays in this heightened state, not for minutes, but for days, weeks, even years? Chronic fear and anxiety don't just affect your thoughts. They take over your entire system. Your brain, your body, your emotions, everything is impacted. You start living in a world that feels unsafe even when there's no real danger. Your nervous system becomes stuck in survival mode, and over time, this begins to break you down. As prolonged anxiety leads to chronic stress, when your brain constantly detects threats, it releases cortisol and adrenaline. In small doses, these chemicals sharpen your focus, heighten your senses, and prepare you for action. But when they flood your system daily, they start doing the opposite. High cortisol damages the brain, especially the hippocampus, the part responsible for memory and learning. This is why chronic anxiety makes it hard to concentrate, remember details, or think clearly. Your brain, consumed by survival, has no energy left for creativity, problem-solving, or deep thought. Your body suffers too. Chronic stress keeps your muscles tense, your heart racing, and your digestive system disrupted. This can lead to constant fatigue, headaches, nausea, and even irritable bowel syndrome. Your body is always preparing for a crisis that never comes, never getting the chance to rest. Sleep becomes a struggle. Have you ever felt exhausted but unable to relax? That's because your nervous system is on high alert. It scans for danger, keeps you restless, makes your sleep light and fragmented. Over time, this lack of deep rest weakens your body's ability to recover, leading to exhaustion, mood swings, and even more anxiety. And then there's your immune system. Few people realize how much stress weakens their body's natural defenses. When fear and anxiety dominate, your immune system is suppressed, making you more vulnerable to illness. Studies show that chronic stress increases inflammation in the body, linking it to conditions like heart disease, high blood pressure, and autoimmune disorders. But here's the truth most people never hear. You don't have to live like this. Fear and anxiety are not permanent. They are not who you are. They are habits, deeply ingrained, but still just habits. And just as they were learned, they can be unlearned. Right now, you have a choice. Stay trapped in the cycle or take control. Because once you understand the science of your mind, you'll realize something incredible. You were never truly trapped. The door has been open all along. What if everything you fear, every worry, every anxious thought was nothing more than an illusion, a program running on autopilot in your mind? From the moment you were born, you were conditioned to believe that fear is natural, that anxiety is inevitable. But what if that's a lie? What if your mind, when trained correctly, has the power to erase fear, silence anxiety, and unlock a reality where peace is your default state? Science has already proven this, yet most people remain trapped in patterns of stress, unaware that their thoughts are shaping their reality. Every time you dwell on fear, your brain reinforces it, wiring your mind for stress. But here's the truth. Just as these pathways were created, they can be rewired. Neuroscience has confirmed that your brain is not fixed. It's adaptable, constantly evolving based on what you focus on. Your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are blueprints, shaping your emotions, your body, and even your physical health. When you feel anxious, your heart races, your muscles tense, and your body prepares for danger even when there is none. Over time, chronic stress rewires your brain, making fear the default setting. But here's where everything changes. The same science that explains this cycle also provides the key to breaking it: Studies show that mindfulness, visualization, and conscious thought rewiring can shrink the amygdala, the fear center of your brain, while strengthening the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for rational thinking and emotional control. This means you are not stuck. Once you recognize these distortions, the next step is challenging them. A thought appearing in your mind doesn't mean it's true. You have to question it. Ask yourself, is there real evidence for this thought, or am I just assuming? Has this fear actually happened before, or is it just my imagination? If the worst happened, could I handle it? What would I tell a friend thinking this way? These questions weaken negative thoughts, forcing the brain to think logically instead of emotionally. The more you do this, the more you train your brain to respond differently to stress. Another powerful technique is reframing. Instead of seeing a situation as a threat, view it as a challenge. Anxiety and excitement feel almost identical in the body. The only difference is interpretation. Instead of saying, "I'm nervous about this speech," say, "I'm excited to share my ideas." Instead of thinking, "This situation is stressful," try, "This is an opportunity to grow." Small shifts in language create big shifts in emotion. Exposure therapy reinforces this. Avoidance strengthens anxiety, teaching your brain that fear is real. Behavioral activation is another key strategy. Taking action even when you don't feel like it. Anxiety makes people wait until they feel better before acting, but waiting doesn't work. Action creates the feeling. If you wait until you feel confident to step outside your comfort zone, you'll be waiting forever. But if you act despite fear, your brain adapts. Writing down your thoughts is another powerful tool. Fears trapped in your mind feel overwhelming, but putting them on paper gives perspective. You see patterns, notice distortions, and most importantly, create distance between yourself and your thoughts. This simple act of writing shifts you from being inside the fear to observing it, as movement is one of the most powerful tools for mental transformation. Exercise isn't just about fitness, it's a direct path to stress relief. Physical activity releases endorphins, the brain's natural mood boosters, while reducing cortisol, the stress hormone. Studies show that regular movement rewires the brain, shrinking the amygdala and reinforcing emotional stability. And it doesn't take intense workouts. Walking, stretching, or dancing for even 20 minutes can make a difference. The key is consistency. Just as fear is programmed through repetition, resilience is built the same way. Sleep is another critical factor. Without enough rest, the brain shifts into survival mode. The prefrontal cortex weakens, making rational thinking harder, while the amygdala becomes hyperactive, intensifying fear. Deep, restorative sleep allows the brain to process emotions, reset, and regulate stress hormones. A simple routine, consistent sleep schedules, limiting screens before bed, and creating a calming environment can significantly enhance mental well-being. Nutrition also plays a direct role in mental health. The gut and brain are deeply connected, and what you consume impacts your mood, energy, and resilience to stress. Processed foods and excessive sugar trigger energy crashes and mood swings, while whole, nutrient-dense foods provide stability. Omega-3s from salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds support brain function, while magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens and nuts promote relaxation. Even hydration matters. Dehydration can amplify anxiety and confusion. Small changes in diet create massive shifts in mental clarity and emotional stability. Beyond personal habits, reducing exposure to negativity is just as important. The content you consume, the people around you, and the environments you immerse yourself in all shape your mindset. Protecting your mental space is just as crucial as strengthening your body. There's a common belief that we must battle anxiety alone, that if we try harder, think more positively, or just push through, we can break free. But sometimes, no matter how much we try, the cycle continues. Thoughts race, emotions overwhelm, and fear remains in control. That's when seeking professional help becomes a game changer. Mental health is no different from physical health. If you break a bone, you don't try to heal it alone, you see a doctor. If your vision is blurred, you don't just hope it improves, you get glasses. The same applies to anxiety, panic, and chronic fear. Seeking help isn't weakness, it's strength. Therapy offers tools that help rewire the brain's response to fear. One of the most effective treatments is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which focuses on how thoughts shape emotions. If your mind is filled with worst-case scenarios, self-doubt, and negativity, your feelings will mirror that. But by shifting thought patterns, you shift how you experience the world. CBT helps identify automatic negative thoughts, the ones that fuel anxiety, before you even notice them. I'll fail. Something bad will happen. I'm not good enough. These thoughts feel real, but they're often just habits. CBT teaches you to challenge them. What evidence do I have for this? What if things go well instead? This process retrains the brain to see reality more clearly, free from fear's distortions. Beyond CBT, exposure therapy gradually introduces fears in a safe, controlled way, breaking the cycle of avoidance. Other treatments like EMDR help reprocess traumatic memories, stripping them of their emotional charge. And for some, medication can provide balance, allowing deeper healing. Therapy isn't about erasing fear, it's about mastering it. A trained professional provides a safe space to navigate emotions, making the journey to freedom more manageable. Unfortunately, stigma prevents many from seeking help. But struggling with anxiety isn't weakness, it's human. Seeking help isn't admitting defeat, it's choosing growth. It's saying, I refuse to let fear control my life. Fear and anxiety do not define you. Your brain is capable of change, healing, and resilience. We've explored how fear works, how the brain can rewire itself, and how habits like mindfulness, movement, and therapy create lasting transformation. If fear ever feels overwhelming, know that help is available. You don't have to face it alone. Freedom from fear isn't about eliminating it, it's about changing your relationship with it. With the right strategies and mindset, transformation is inevitable. It won't happen overnight, but step by step, you will break free. You will become stronger, calmer, and fearless. If you found this video valuable, like and subscribe to Mindful Rise. Your journey to a fearless life starts now. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember, your mind is more powerful than your fears.